Welcome back to Rustic Cedar Homestead. There has been a lot happening here lately, and not all of them homesteady things, but we'll get you caught up. We do get a lot of questions about the greenhouse though now that we're deep into fall, so I thought I'd start with an update on our greenhouse in the snow. We worked on completing the south wall by adding the insulation on the ground. The instructions tell you to put a 2-inch piece of foam 2 feet wide all the way around the greenhouse, but we had extra scraps and we knew we were going to have to backfill a lot of dirt, so we added our scraps. The plastic is then added for waterproofing over the insulation. Wanted to see how far you got without me yesterday.
Oh yeah, I got. Well, see how this is not as steep as that.
Yeah.
So you kind of got a wall going here.
Are you gonna put something in there, or?
Yeah, we'll probably have to retain it somehow. Logs, maybe.
Okay.
A lot of dirt.
I turned the big 5-0 and we celebrated with sushi. A day later, Joel had his hernia surgery and it could not have gone smoother. He is recovering wonderfully and we wanted to thank everyone for their prayers.
So am I on drugs right now?
I'm sure that's why you're so groggy. It's leaving your system.
I think I was dreaming about chickens.
What about chickens?
While I was doing the chicken children, I think I must have been waking up because it seemed like the nurses were pulling me out of the greenhouse.
Eric made a monumental decision about his future and joined the Army National Guard. He was sworn in on November 10th after his MEPS testing in St. Paul. He will leave for basic training to Fort Benning, Georgia on July 12th, and Joel and I could not be more proud of him. We also celebrated 2 more birthdays in November, and Kyle reminded us that 20 is not too old to celebrate at an arcade and go bowling. Kyle and Bella both turned 20, and they also made a monumental move toward their future. They packed up all of their stuff in the bunkhouse and moved to their first apartment. We gave them our couch, so we got to dig our old couch out of the shed. After we cleaned up the mess the mice made, of course. It's the most comfortable couch on the planet, so it was totally worth washing every cover and vacuuming every square inch.
Where do you think you're going? An escapee.
So here is a chicken update. We have added the perches and we have added swings. Thank you, Amanda. and we've also added a little extra fencing because we've been coming in here and the chickens are loose. They're having a heyday up in the peppers, eating the zucchini, eating the Brussels sprouts. So Joel and I did some cleanup in the outside gardens and brought this fencing in. So this adds, I don't know, what do you think, 2 more feet?
Yeah.
So it's probably about 6 feet high now. I don't know, can chickens jump that high. And then we added these swings. Nobody's really figured those out yet. Use your core. And we added the perches. We added these a few nights ago and thought the chickens would just try them themselves. That wasn't the case. I actually had to lift them up there onto the perches, and then they used them. There's a couple of them that have had a habit of sleeping in the nesting boxes, and so when I come in to do the chicken chores at night, I've just been picking them up out of the nesting boxes and setting them on a perch, and then quick run out of here because I feel like it's so dark in here they won't be able to find their way back to the nesting boxes. So if I can get out before any of them come down off the nest or off the perches, I feel like they've been staying up there. I had 5 of them up there last night, and you can tell they're staying up there at night because of all the poop that's underneath the perches. So you can see this netting right here. We added that all around this structure that Joel added. And then we put a piece of the Lexan on the top so that they can't fly up out of there off of that tallest perch. They are all mostly still sleeping on those pallets up in the corner there, huddled together. But every night I take 1 or 2 more and put them on the perches. You see I ran out of fence up here, so we added a straw bale and just some stuff to kind of deter them. But that does leave the wall with the door in it. Oops, sorry. They're always underfoot. So I don't know. We'll have to see if they jump over that. They might. I came in here yesterday and there were 2 of them on the other side of the door. So I don't know if you're just jumping over the door itself. Hi. What do you want? We've also solved the muddy egg problem by getting a lot of straw in here. This is pretty thick. There's probably 6 inches of straw in here. That really helps. And then what really helps, I'm learning, is to keep the nesting boxes really clean. So putting new straw in there, and they always swirl it around to look like this. But why it's important to not let your chickens sleep in the nesting boxes is so that you don't have poopy eggs every day. We had poopy eggs for quite a while because we didn't have more straw. So it's really important to keep that straw in there clean so you don't have poopy eggs, because remember, shells, the egg shells are porous. The other cool thing that all of this straw does for the birds is it gives them something to do. They're used to being able to go outside every day, and we haven't figured out a way to get them outside every day. I mean, short of picking up 26 chickens and carrying them to a pen outside, but I'm not doing that. So they get a little bored in here. So having new straw, once or twice a week gives them something to do, to scratch through. And I'm kind of hoping maybe these swings might give them something to do too. This is an Americana. I think she is the one that lays our pink egg. So that would make the other Americana the one that lays the blue egg. Here's the other Americana. Oh, up there. So pink egg and blue egg. Aren't they pretty? We do still have the little chicken, and she's doing really well. She lives out in the mobile coop by herself. We were never able to reintroduce her to the other chickens, but she's fully feathered now, so she's gonna do great out there. Today I am making bone broth, and believe it or not, that process for me starts outside today. And we've got about 6 inches of snow out there covering my carrots. I sold most of my carrots through the farmer's market, but I had some just itty bitty ones that were still left in here, and I just left them in here just for the sole purpose of making broth with them. So none of these are real big, so I'm gonna have to pick a bunch of them to make them worth anything in the stock, but they will be so delicious now that they've gone through this freeze. These are mostly carrots that I did not get thinned, so they stayed really small, but they are super sweet and delicious. These are a Danvers variety that just didn't get a chance to grow to their potential. And these are a Black Nebula that are delicious, but they make everything purple. All right, so we are back inside. That was really cold on the hands. And this is about what I got. And then I freeze the carcasses whenever we cook a chicken. And now I'm gonna put them in my roaster and make stock. And I want to turn the broth purple, so I'm just going to eat that one. I love the smell of carrots right out of the garden. It's nothing like the carrots you buy in the grocery store. I can't smell carrots from the grocery store. And that is what we got. Whew. Those are strong. So I've got about 5 chicken carcasses in here. So my recipe calls for about 2.5 gallons of water. My recipe, I'm using the new ball canning book, and the recipe says to heat it to 225 for 7 hours. The recipe does call for another 7 hours at 180 degrees, but ultimately I let this go for 24 hours. I just feel like you get so much more flavor the longer you let it sit. And then I use my food saver and I freeze it and I put it in my freezer. This batch gave me about 10 quarts. So in this season of thanks, we are so thankful for all of you and to still be getting so many eggs, tomatoes, and zucchini this late in the year. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you, and thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video and will consider subscribing. We'll see you next time.